guys, I'm gonna make me and Nancy a little dinner. I'm gonna do a beef broccoli casserole. I'm gonna use ground beef instead of chunk beef or cube beef. I know it sounds awful cafeteria to say ground beef, but it's fresh, so I'm gonna use it. We'll use a pound of ground beef, small thing of dry rice, cream of chicken, it's a little bit of tomato sauce, and some soy sauce. And it calls for 2 cups of water, but I ain't using water. I'm using this homemade beef broth that I canned the other day instead of water. It's really gonna make a difference, I swear it is. Just a dash of Cholula. Crackers to crumble up and put in if you want, or breadcrumbs. I ain't decided yet where I'm going to put crackers on it for a crust, and I may. It's getting awful carby with the rice in it, and I really don't want to carb it up anymore with the crackers, but it sure makes a difference. So we'll see what happens here when we get this going. We'll get this ground beef browned up here. Now, as far as your seasonings, you season however you want. Use it how you want. Put a little, I use a little bit of just very little sea salt. Trying to stay away from salt, but I like black pepper. Let's pepper this burger. And we're going to cook this around till we get it all good and brown, then we're going to drain it. If you use fresh beef very much, you already know that it ain't going to be much to drain because it don't really make any juice whatsoever. Thing like store-bought hamburger, it makes mostly water. We're going to get this fried up, get it brown. I'm going to be right back. We'll start putting our ingredients in. Hamburger done the way that I want it. Okay, our hamburger done. Add a little bit of the water here. Mixed in. Now I use that beef broth. I made that beef broth myself. Instead of water. You use water, you use chicken broth, canned broth, whatever. I just like the broth. Put in our cream of chicken soup. I didn't have any homemade cream of chicken, or I'd used it. And put in my tomato sauce. I had homemade tomato sauce. I just didn't want to open up a whole jar just to get 8 ounces out for this recipe. So get this up to a good little simmer. Mixed in. Okay. I'll add the rest of my broth here. Put this in the sink. The rice goes in here just in a minute. Whenever I get my temp up. Okay, that's just about ready to put the rice in. Went ahead and started me some water over here. I'm gonna throw in this broccoli. Get it steamed down to the texture I want. Go ahead and put in what I figure is about a tablespoon of that Cholula sauce. And it's called for Worcestershire, but I like soy better, and it's using less soy. About a tablespoon instead of 2 tablespoons of soy. It's a little saltier, but it's got a little better flavor too, right? Time for our rice. Put our rice in there. Now that, you can use any rice you want. I used red Spanish rice, red rice for this. I would like to use long grain wild, but Nancy does not like long grain wild rice, and that's okay. I'll get this rice back up to a good little simmer here, and keep it that way for about 20 minutes while I get this broccoli steamed down to the texture that I'm after. And our hamburger and rice is looking really good there. Coming to a good simmer. My water over here for my broccoli is just starting to steam. Figure out. I'm gonna go ahead and put the broccoli in there. Give me a lid on that. Keep stirring this. That looks pretty good. Smells pretty awesome, I'm gonna tell you. But now, said you use the 2 cups of water if you don't have the broth, or if you don't want the broth. I like the broth. It makes all the difference in the world. And I make broth out of everything. I'm getting so old, I think, because everything I see, I think, oh, I can make something out of that and save it. I was making jerky here the other day, and I wanted to process trimming that up, that beef up. I cut all the fat and all the trimmings and stuff off of it, and instead of, I put it in that crock pot for about for over 36 hours on low. I took it out of there, and then I made a pot of soup out of the beef, fed the fat to the dog, and then canned 12 pints of beef broth out of that crock pot. So I got enough beef broth to get me through the winter. I use 1 pint of it right here. We're just about to get there. Alrighty. Get a little broccoli in here. You don't even have to use broccoli. Honestly, I think you can use about any veggie, green veggie. You can use spinach or kale or some kind of green. I don't know if it'd be very good or not. Sounds interesting, but it might not sound very good. Right, get a little spoon. Spoon this around in here. So, don't know how good that looks. I think it looks alright. What do you guys think? So, I am going to use the cracker. You don't have to use the cracker. I'm going to use the cracker. Just go around there. That was about 1/3 of a pack of it. We got one more thing here in the fridge that goes in. Cheese. A little bit of cheddar cheese. And another little, I don't know, 10 of those crackers, kind of crushed. I said I didn't want to carb it up very much, but it's going to be cold and rainy tonight and tomorrow. This will make a nice little get over the cold meal. Sit around and eat on that this afternoon for supper. Heat me up after I've been outside. Go ahead and set our oven for 350. And we're getting close. Now, if you wanted to, you could have stirred that cheese in. If you didn't want to put the crackers or anything on it, you could stir that cheese in and just cook another 5 minutes or so on the stove and be done with it. I like to put my crackers on there and my cheese and then stick it in the oven for, I want to set it for about 15 minutes and just keep an eye on it. Because I like for that cheese to melt right down in it and the crackers to still be on top instead of mixed up inside of it. My timer went off and it tells me it's been enough time, so. Up here on the stone. Anyway, there is my beef broccoli casserole made with hamburger. I'm fixing to try a little bit of that here in a minute. I'll let it cool off some. Ooh. It's hot. Still hot. Stuff right there. That's pretty good stuff. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna eat just a little bit of this. I'm gonna save the rest of it. Nights will be at about 4. I'm gonna have a light supper. That'll be good with a big old piece of garlic bread and a little light salad. Yeah. Stay warm. It's gonna get wet. Stay dry.